with it being a new year, I thought it was about time that I created this episode. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to start creating content in the year of 2026. So consider this your beginner's guide to content creation, because your girl knows a thing or two or more about creating content, and I'm ready to spill it all with you guys. So if this video finds you, I hope you stay a while. Welcome to another creative podcast, where creative outcasts come together to share their stories so we can all feel a little less lonely. I'm your host, Janelle Marquez. Hello. Welcome to or back to the podcast. If you don't know me, I'm going to give you some background information for why you should trust anything I say or share in this episode. First and foremost, I do have background in social media marketing. I worked in the industry for the last almost 4 years. I worked as a social media manager, and I also created content for a company, and I was producing content that produced numbers and results for businesses. I also created content that resonated and connected with communities. It's something I'm very passionate about, and it's something I'm ready to share with everyone else. A little bit more about my background is I have been doing photography for the last 15 years. And I also have been editing videos and creating videos for the last 10 years. I also want to say that I do produce this podcast. I edit this podcast. I am the one who comes up with all the content for this podcast. And I've had a bit of success with it in the last year. So that's all I have to sell myself. But honestly, I am also someone who just believes that content creation shouldn't be complicated. And I hope that this beginner's guide is helpful to anyone who's just has an inkling, a little itch or something about possibly getting into creating content in the new year. So I got 10 steps for you, and we're going to start going through it. The first thing when it comes to content creation, you want to find your why, or your purpose for why you even want to get into it. For example, my podcast. The whole purpose of my podcast and creating it was to share stories that I feel like a lot of creatives may relate to. And that's exactly what I've been doing here. And since I've started my podcast about 9 months ago, I have found that it's doing exactly that. It's reaching fellow creatives who resonate with the content I'm putting out. And I think that purpose, when you are able to remind yourself of like, why am I doing this? It makes it so much easier to do it. Like when all motivation fails, that why is what keeps me going. It's what makes me want to be more disciplined about the craft and the thing that I am working at. After you discover your why, get really clear on like, what is it that you want to be sharing? Think about what is it that you want to do. So let's say you're really passionate about fitness and getting really healthy because you recently started implementing a routine in your life, or a fitness routine in your life that completely changed so much more than just your physical health in your life. Let's say that's it. So you're probably going to want to start creating fitness content, right? Think about like what your goal is with doing so. What goals do you have? Do you want to promote your business? Or like, do you want to start a coaching business and help transform people's lives? Do you want to just motivate people? Do you just want to be a resource for others? Like, what are your goals with putting out this type of content? My podcast, to begin with, a lot of the content I was creating was educational. I really kind of wanted to spill all the knowledge I currently had, or even just like experiences I had with other people that I think other people would like to know or could even relate to knowing. The second step to my beginner's guide is asking yourself, how do you want to share this content? And what is it that you want to do in the content? Like, do you only want to do videos? Do you only want to do short form videos? Do you only want to do long form videos? Do you just want to live stream? Do you solely want to be a TikTok creator? Do you want to do a little bit of everything and post on Instagram? Do you want to do both? How many platforms do you want to be on? These are only questions like you can truly answer for yourself. I will say I'm someone who believes you don't need to be posting on every single platform as a creative. I think it's great to diversify yourself on platforms, but I know so many creators who really focus on one platform and then use other platforms to like lead people to like that one main one. So I do think that in 2026, being everywhere at once is not really important. So for example, my podcast is solely promoted on YouTube and sometimes Instagram, but rarely on TikTok. I don't really care to use TikTok if I'm being honest. I find that YouTube has actually been the biggest platform for growing my podcast and for pushing out my content to the audience I think it's meant for. So with this step, I really just want you to kind of think about like, how do you want to share it and what platforms those are? Because once you kind of do that, you're going to want to start setting up your handles for all of those accounts. And I highly, highly, highly encourage that your handle is consistent across all platforms, or at least try to get them as close to as possible, because you can always put links to direct your viewers to other platforms. But I would really try to get your profile photo to be the same across all platforms and really just set up those profiles. So that's already taken care of before you even post content. The third step, and I think this is one that you're probably gonna have to revisit a couple of times, but this is probably one of the most important steps in this entire process. And that is to get over yourself and the fear of failing. In my last podcast episode, I talked about how I sometimes will get in this cycle of being stuck as a content creator or as a creative in general, where I'll have this great idea and I'm getting ready to plan it out and make it happen, but then I get really in my head about it. I'm not sure if I want to like go through it. I'm overthinking it, and then I never turn it into something, or I turn it into something but I never post it. And that type of thinking is actually very damaging. It's not good for our brains to question every single thing that we do, especially as creatives and people who are just wanting to start creating. If you've never done this before, you don't know what you're going to be good at. You don't know what's going to hit. You don't know what people are going to love. So the most important thing is to just get over the fear of failing or the fear of embarrassment. Just get over yourself and get into your work. I have found content creation to be very easy for me, or at least doing it for myself has been very easy, because I'm so excited and passionate about what I'm doing that when I'm creating these things, I'm so proud of it that the fear of it failing or flopping or whatever, or just embarrassing myself, doesn't even cross my mind. But I've also been doing this for a very long time. And I know that that comfortability is not always going to be something people reach right away or even get to. So my biggest advice is just get over it and just do it, because you are going to be your harshest critic. Everyone else is going to be viewers when you're going to be the one doing it. And the ones who do it are the ones who are making things happen. So that's the only person that matters. That's the only opinion that should matter, is if you like it. If you don't like the way you talk, get over it. At the end of the day, you're a human wanting to connect with others. And that's such a lovely thing. And I think we are so hard on ourselves and we critique everything about ourselves, but that's not what matters. What matters is what you're putting out into the world online, and getting over yourself is going to be the biggest hurdle you're probably going to face, but it's the most important one for you to overcome, because that is where success starts. That's where growth begins. It's very uncomfortable, but it's probably the most important thing you have to do as you begin your journey in content creation. And I promise you, it is so worth it. So let's say you kind of gotten over it. The fourth thing that you're going to do is you're just going to start doing it. You are going to film everything. Everything that has to do with whatever you're trying to share or document or create, you are going to film all of it. So what does this look like? Like going back to myself, when I created this podcast, I had an idea, I had a vision. I also remember filming everything to begin with. I knew I wanted to post my podcast on YouTube because I do listen to a lot of podcasts on YouTube. I also wanted to post it on Spotify. So I have an audio and a video version. But I also was kind of filming a little bit of everything in the midst of creating it. So I would film myself creating my episode cards that you guys see in the background of my videos. I would film myself just like hanging up my episode 1 thing because I was so proud to document the journey. I also do enjoy making vlogs and filming for vlogs, even if they don't see the light of day. So that was kind of like a natural instinct or thing for me to do. But I think if you are just getting used to filming yourself or creating content, film everything. Anything could be used as content, whether you realize it or not. The important thing to know about this step is that when I say film everything, that doesn't mean you're going to post everything you film. In order to like get into content creation, you have to get used to filming things, documenting things. And it's like a muscle you just have to build. And eventually it'll become muscle memory for you to just record something. And you'll learn your own type of style when it comes to filming. And I think people who have never really done content creation don't realize that like you kind of do have to have like an eye or a vision for these things. And it's not going to come naturally, but I highly recommend studying other people's content. Look at creators who are in the field you want to get into and get inspiration from how they film, because that's how you're going to be able to get an idea of like what you like and how you want to film things. And getting inspiration can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to just be creators in your field. In fact, I also recommend looking at creators in other industries and looking at how they film their content, because you could bring that type of filming style into your industry if it's not something that's very common. And I think that's a very cool thing to do. And it's something that can help your content stand out from existing content creators on the internet. So let's say you have filmed everything. You filmed all the things you wanted to do. You, like back to my example of a fitness creator, you filmed your morning routine, you filmed your what I eat in a day, you filmed a get ready with me for the gym or whatever it is. Next step is going to be editing. And my biggest advice when it comes to editing is to simplify your editing process, because it's going to make it easier for you to be able to create more consistently. So what do I mean by simplifying your editing process? Well, when you are just starting, you only need to get familiar with very few things. And I'm going to be so for real, you don't need to worry about all of the crazy edits and all that things. Keep it so simple. Like I'm talking about, pick a font and only use that font for all of your videos. If you're going to have captions on your videos, same thing. Pick a font for those captions and only use that caption for all of your videos. It will help build brand recognition when it comes to your content if you are able to keep a consistent style across all of your videos, even down to the text or the font that you use. This is such a very specific tip, but trust me, it helps so much. Plus, if you are able to repeat simple edits over and over again, or different styles of videos, this is going to help your account grow no matter what platform it is. And a lot of social media strategists on the internet refer to this as creating a signature style series. And this could be as simple as posting get ready with me's every single day. This could be as simple as filming your morning routine every day, or doing like a motivational Monday every week. Like this will help once again build brand recognition for whatever platform you're posting on. People are going to start expecting a video style from you, and they'll get to associate that style with you. And another way to make sense of this is to really think of yourself like a producer, and you're producing a TV show, and a TV show usually follows a very similar format, and your viewers tune in to your show because they know what to expect every week or every day or whatever it is that your posting frequency is. Creating this signature series just helps build that connection and helps you grow a community. Plus, people on the internet love following a good journey. So if they can kind of expect what's to come, it makes your content that much more interesting. And to kind of piggyback on that thought, with step number 6, you are going to just post. You're just going to publish all that stuff. And I highly recommend batching content. If you have time to create content every day, great, fantastic, wonderful. But that's not really realistic for most people who are starting content creation. You probably have a job or other responsibilities to deal with throughout your day, and you need to make time to create content. That's a non-negotiable when it comes to creating content in 2026. You're going to set time aside for it because you want to do that. So with that being said, I don't think you need to spend hours every single day focused on pushing out content or editing content or creating content. I do think it's more effective to take a couple hours on a Sunday night before the week starts to just edit a couple videos and then have 3 or 4 videos you could post during the week, or edit 7 videos and you have a video to post every single day if that's what your heart desires. But I do want to caution all of you who are getting into content creation that it's very overwhelming to post every single day. It's not really realistic for most people who live their lives and have things to tend to post content every single day. So I do recommend to just post whenever you can, but with intention. For example, a Get Ready With Me series. If that is like your signature series, just get ready with me. That's so easy to do because you get ready every day or just about every day. So at least you have something to film every day. And you can like film a bunch, film for 3 days, edit those 3 videos. You have another 3 videos you can post for 3 days and then film throughout those days that you're editing and posting. The cycle continues. For example, on my TikTok, I actually started a series about being a creative going through a career crisis. And that's kind of catchy and it works. So I turned that into a signature series for myself. The only thing is that it's actually just vlogs. I just gave it something a little catchy so that it pulls people in and kind of lets them know right off the bat what they're going to watch. But signature series don't need to be complicated. They could be as simple as Get Ready With Me, Motivation Mondays, What I Eat in a Day, morning vlogs, Hot Girl Walks with me. I don't care. Anything, whatever it is that you want to do, you can probably create a signature series out of it. In fact, I welcome all of you guys to message me and ask me for signature series content ideas because your girl's got plenty and I'm happy to sit and brainstorm with all y'all. But with all that being said, with this 6th step, I do want to remind you that when it comes to posting, just do it. Put it out there. Publish it. Just do the thing and be intentional about it. And when it comes to being intentional, I mean like just make sure you like it. Make sure you want it out there. If you're embarrassed to post it, go back to step number 3 and get out of your head and get over yourself. Because in 2026, you are going to create content and you're going to post it and you're going to be proud of it. After you start posting content, the 7th step you're going to do is you're going to engage with your community. So once you start posting content, your friends are probably going to comment. You're probably going to get strangers commenting. Engage with them. I'm not going to lie. I'm so bad at this to this day. I just am like in awe that people engage with my content like strangers. And I kind of get in my head and overthink about the comment and my response, but like, don't be like me. Actually engage with your community. Respond to the comments you receive. Have a conversation with someone. Not only that, but engage with other people's content. Comment on other people's things. Engage in conversations with other creators in your industry, outside of your industry. Let other creators know you like what they're doing. Because it feels so good to have that done for myself that it makes me want to do it more for others because you never know who needs to be reassured that their content is resonating with others. Being social on social media is just something I think people forget is something we need to do a little bit more often. So often we are just watching and swiping, but what about commenting? What about real conversations online? Take the time to just truly connect with your community because that's where it starts. Fostering a community starts with those first initial conversations. And the goal, at least from with my platforms, is to grow those communities. So let's say you've already been posting content, you keep making content, you're excited about it. What's next? Well, the 8th thing I'm going to remind you is one that I have had to remind myself of time and time again. And this next step is so important. And that is, do not get discouraged. You're going to want to look at your analytics. You're going to want to look at your numbers. You're going to want to start analyzing all these things, because on social media, we're kind of drawn to look at numbers. People want to go viral. You want these big numbers. You want all this growth. But content creation is truly a long game. You could have a video go viral and double your following, triple your following, get 1 million views, get paid out from it, and your life could still be the same the very next day, the next week. Content creation is a long game, whether you want to do it for fun or you want to turn it into a side hustle or your main hustle. I have been posting inconsistently on YouTube for 10 years. And the amount of times I've been discouraged and encouraged and discouraged again, I would be so rich if I had a dime for every time I had one of those thoughts. But true growth comes from showing up and pouring into your craft every single day. You will see the growth you want to see. You will get what you want out of this based off of how much you put into it. So do not get discouraged just because your growth is not linear. In fact, the best success stories are those that come from so many failures. I feel like I've hit rock bottom after rock bottom after rock bottom. And sometimes it's laughable. The amount of things I've gone through in the last year where I'm like, you can't make any of this up, truly. Yet I started off 2026 at a place where I just can't believe that all this work is finally what feels like to me paying off. I'm at a place at a creative where I'm no longer getting discouraged by the numbers I see, because I know it's a long game. And I know that everyone has to start somewhere. So you're going to be in the 200 jail on TikTok for a while. And that's okay. You're going to have a video pop off on YouTube, and then the next 10 to 15 videos for the next 9 months are probably going to get maybe less than 30 views. And that's okay too. But it's important to not get discouraged and remind yourself of your why, because that, once again, is what's going to keep you going. When all motivation is lost, you have to remind yourself why it's so important to be disciplined when it comes to your craft. The 9th step, and this is my favorite step in my beginner's guide to content creation, is to experiment. Do not box yourself in when it comes to content creation. If you are inspired to create something, if you want to try a new format, if you want to start posting on another platform, if you want to start streaming, if you want to try something, if you want to start a podcast when your whole dream has been to be a vlogger, do it. Just do it. I highly encourage you to try those what ifs. Scratch that itch, because you never know what's going to come from it. What's the worst you do? You try it and it fails? Or what if you try it and it pops off for you, or you love it more? You won't know though if you don't try. So my biggest tip is to experiment and try new things and just learn from whatever it is that you're going to do, because that's where the growth happens. Growth happens in those uncomfortable moments where you are unsure, where you start second guessing yourself, but you do it anyways. So experiment, try new things. And this goes to my last step. And this is probably the most important step out of everything I'm going to tell you when it comes to creating content in 2026. Just have fun. Enjoy it, because you don't want to be doing something and putting a lot of time and effort into something you don't like. If you don't like being on camera, but you like having conversations, don't vlog. Don't create short form content when it comes to having yourself on camera. Have a podcast. Just talk. Someone's going to want to listen. And if you're producing content that you like and you want to listen to, that's truly all that matters. I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, but life is too short for you to be spending your time doing things you don't want to do or don't care to do. In 2026, I encourage all creators to create what you want to create, what you want to see, what you want to put out there, because no one's going to be you. You can do the same style of video as someone else. You can come up with your own signature style series, but at the end of the day, no one is going to be you. No one's going to have your thoughts. No one's going to do the things the way you do them. So show up, have fun, enjoy the ride, fall in love with the process of being human and piecing together something that may connect with strangers. Have so much fun with it, because this is the only reason why I've had YouTube on my mind for all these years, because I have so much fun with it. I get excited to sit here and talk about a topic that has been on my mind. I'm literally the only person talking in this podcast, yet I feel like I'm having a conversation with other people on the other side of the screen, because I actually am having these conversations with other people. In fact, this episode stemmed from so many people asking me how to get into content creation, where to start, how to do it. And in fact, this isn't even everything I have to say. If I'm being honest, I do plan on releasing a full YouTube video that goes way more in depth about my content creation process and how I'm able to produce content. And I share all my tips and tricks, which I feel like I'm at a place where I'm cool with letting everyone know, because I don't think it's cool to keep knowledge from other creatives, because not everyone has the same resources. So if anything, these last few years have shown us that you don't have to be a genius or oh so talented to create content. You just have to be persistent and disciplined and actually want to frickin' do the thing. So with all that being said, that is my beginner's guide to content creation in 2026. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. Message me on social media. I will be happy to answer any of your questions. Anything I've ever been curious about when it comes to creating content, I've pretty much pursued most of it. So if you ever need someone to just brainstorm or shoot the shit with, I'm your girl. I will happily have a conversation with any person who's wanting to start creating content in 2026. So I hope by now that you are ready to take off and do the thing. So don't forget to share your handles or comment down below, because I would love to get a follow train going for people who want to start creating content this year. And maybe you'll be able to find your community in my comments section. So yeah, engage down there. I'd love to start helping people grow their platforms and just get excited about doing the thing, because that's what we're doing this year. So with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.